In this video, I will tell you what you have to write in your practical copy. Your aim of the experiment is to study the construction and working of four-stroke petrol and diesel engine. Then apparatus required. In apparatus required, you have to write the cross-section model of four-stroke petrol and diesel engine. Next is theory. In theory, first we have to write about heat engine, because IC engine is a type of heat engine. Then type of heat engine. There are two types of heat engine. First one is your internal combustion engine. In short, it is named as IC engine. Next is your external combustion engine. Okay, or EC engine. Here also the definition of IC engine and EC engine are mentioned. Also the example of IC engine and EC engine are given. Okay, so the example of IC engine is petrol engine, diesel engine, and example for EC engine is steam engine. Next is your classification of IC engine. According to the type of fuel used, IC engine is classified into three types. First one is your petrol engine, second one is your diesel engine, last is your gas engine. Next, according to the number of stroke, it is classified into two types. First one is your four stroke engine, second one is your two stroke engine. Here there is some typing mistake. 2 means TWO, two stroke cycle engine. Okay, according to the method of ignition of a fuel, it is classified into three types. First one is your spark ignition engine, second one is your compression ignition engine, third is your hot spot ignition engine. According to the cycle of operation, it is classified into three types: Otto cycle engine, diesel cycle engine, dual combustion cycle engine. Next, according to the cooling system, air cooled engine, water cooled engine, evaporative cooling engine. According to the method of fuel injection, carburetor engine, uh, air injection engine, airless or solid injection engine. So these are the classifications of IC engine. Okay, next, different components and their function. Components common to both petrol and diesel engine are cylinder, piston, cylinder head, piston ring, gauge pin, crank, connecting rod, crankshaft, bearings, crankcase, flywheel, governor, valve or port mechanism. Okay, next, component for petrol engine only. in petrol engine in petrol engine there are three components. First one is your spark plug, carburetor, then your fuel pump. Then components for diesel engine only: fuel injector and fuel pump. So these are the components. Next, the function of components. Okay, the function of cylinder block. This is the function of cylinder block which are given, which are mentioned. Okay. Next is your cylinder head. It is the structure mounted on the cylinder block. It contains valve mechanisms. Okay, spark plug, fuel injector. Eh. Next is your cylinder. Okay. So cylinder is a cylindrical vessel or space inside the cylinder block in which the piston makes reciprocating motion, as well as the combustion of a fuel takes place inside the engine cylinder. Okay, it is made up of aluminum for light vehicle, light duty vehicles, and cast iron for heavy duty vehicles. Okay. Next is your cylinder, liner or sleeve. The function of cylinder liner or sleeve is given. Okay, you have to write this in your practical record. Next your piston. This is the main component for a IC engine. The piston uh, provide the reciprocating motion. Okay, it also transmit the force to the crank through connecting rod. Next is your piston ring. Okay, the function of a piston ring is to control the cylinder lubrication. Okay, there are two types of piston ring: compression ring and oil ring. Next is your piston pin. It is also called the Gaussian pin. Okay, it is the link between the piston and crank. Sorry, piston and connecting rod. Next, the reciprocating motion of the piston is, sorry, next is your crank. Here the function of crank is given. It convert reciprocating motion into rotary motion. Next is your combustion chamber. Eh, In combustion chamber, the fuel and air mixture, uh, the combustion of fuel and air mixture takes place. Next, crankshaft. The function of crankshaft is given. Okay, flywheel. The function of a flywheel is to store energy and transfer that energy for the new cyclic process. Next, crankcase. Next is your crankshaft. Okay, so you have to write all these things in your practical copy. These are the functions of components of IC engine. Next is governor. Okay. And governor in next is your valve. There are two valves: inlet valve and exhaust valve. The inlet valve was used to uh, supply the air fuel mixture into the engine cylinder through inlet valve, and exhaust valve is used to release the burning gases to the atmosphere through exhaust valve. Next is your spark plug. A spark plug is used for petrol engine, which is used to produce or generate spark to uh, for combustion air and fuel mixture. Carburetor is a device for which is used for mixing air fuel mixture. It is used in petrol engine. Next is your fuel injector. This component is used in diesel engine to inject diesel or fuel into the engine cylinder. Then basic terms which are related to IC engine. Okay, first one is your bore. The bore is the inside diameter of the cylinder. Okay. Next is your stroke. It is the distance traveled by the piston from one dead center to another dead center. Okay, dead center. There are two types of dead center. First one is your top dead center, and second one is your bottom dead center. The topmost position of the cylinder is known as top dead center. Towards the cylinder head is called top dead center, and the lowermost position of the towards the crankcase, it is known as bottom dead center. Next, swept volume. It is the volume displaced by one stroke of a piston. It is denoted as Vs. Okay, swept volume is capital A multiplied by capital L, where capital A is cross sectional area of a piston and capital L is length of a stroke. Okay. So swept volume is equal to pi by 4 d square d square into L. Next is your clearance volume. It is the volume included between the piston and cylinder head when the piston is at top dead center. Okay, it is denoted as VC. Next is your compression ratio. It is the ratio of the total cylinder volume to the clearance volume. Total volume of the cylinder is equal to the sum of swept volume and clearance volume. Compression ratio is defined as the ratio of total volume to the clearance volume. Construction of IC engine. You have to write these in for construction. Next is your working principle of a 4-stroke petrol engine or SI engine. Okay, a 4-stroke engine is a type of IC engine in which the 4 events are completed in 4 strokes of a piston during 2 revolutions of the crankshaft. In a 4-stroke cycle engine, the 4 events which are taking place inside the engine cylinder are suction stroke, compression stroke, expansion stroke, exhaust stroke. Okay, the engine has valves for controlling the inlet of charge and outlet of exhaust gas. The opening and closing of the valves are controlled by cam and camshaft which are fitted on the camshaft. The camshaft is driven by a crankshaft with the help of suitable gears. Okay, the 4 strokes which are taking place in the IC engine are suction stroke. During this stroke, the inlet valve open and exhaust valve remains closed. The piston moved downwards. That means from top dead center to bottom dead center. This movement increases the size of the combustion space, thereby reducing pressure and creating suction. Due to suction, air fuel mixture is sucked inside the engine cylinder through inlet valve from the carburetor. Okay, next compression stroke. In this stroke, both the valves remains closed. The piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. The air fuel mixture sucked during this stroke is compressed during this upward stroke. At the end of compression stroke, the spark plug produces spark which ignite the air fuel mixture. Next is your expansion stroke. This stroke is also known as power stroke. In this stroke, both the valves remains closed. The mixture of air and fuel which burns at the end of compression stroke generate a large amount of heat energy during uh, energy which expand due to the heat of combustion. It exhausts high pressure to the to piston. Okay, so next is your uh, exhaust stroke. The exhaust stroke is given. Next, advantages of a petrol engine and disadvantages of petrol engine are given. You have to write this in your practical copy. Okay, next, working principle of diesel engine. The basic component of diesel engine is similar to 4-stroke petrol engine. Okay, there are some difference. Only air is taken into the cylinder during the suction stroke instead of air fuel mixture. Here a fuel injector is fitted instead of a spark plug. Okay. In a 4-stroke diesel engine, there are also 4 events which are taking place inside the engine cylinder. Okay. The first one is suction stroke, second compression, third expansion, fourth exhaust stroke. Okay, the cyclic process of this of diesel engine are same. Okay, but the difference is air is coming inside the engine cylinder during the suction stroke and In compression end of the compression stroke, the fuel injector inject fuel. Okay, this is the basic difference between the between petrol and diesel engine. Okay, and these are the disadvantages and disadvantages for diesel engine. Next is your application. Okay, and final conclusion. From the above experiment, we have studied about the construction and different components and their working principle of a four-stroke petrol and diesel engine.